Breaking news today. Russia cancels grain sale to Ukraine. Putin and the implications for prices. Vladimir Putin is sending signals that he plans to abandon the Ukraine grain deal for good this time. The agreement, formerly known as the Black Sea Grain Initiative, has allowed Ukraine to keep exports of wheat, corn, and other foodstuffs relatively constant over the past year and has helped to bring down global prices that spiked after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. On July 17, Moscow announced it was pulling out of the agreement, saying that the United Nations and Western partners had failed to fulfill their promises to make it simpler for Russia to export grain and fertilizer. Putin emphasized his point by launching a massive bombing campaign against Ukrainian harbors. The expiration of the deal risks holding global food security at ransom, says International Rescue Committee President David Miliband. Even the markets are starting to worry. Wheat futures in Chicago have increased by 6%. Prior to the war, Ukraine supplied 10% of the world's exports of wheat. However, in the world of commodities, that is hardly cause for alarm. The possibility of Russia returning to the agreement remains high. Russia loses billions of dollars while its wartime enemy profits while the price of Russia's competing goods drops. Putin's two most significant international friends are China and Turkey, and they benefit from the grain accord. Ukrainian exports have found their biggest market by far in Beijing. This elevates Turkey's status as a shipping broker around the world. According to Carnegie Russia-Eurasia Center scholar Alexandra Prokopenko, the grain deal is important to both Turkey and China, and Russia has no alternative to its dependence on them. Relations between Russia and China will not improve after Russian missiles accidentally damaged the Chinese consulate in Odessa, Ukraine's main port. Prokopenko speculates that Putin, seeking positive PR in the Global South, will host a summit of African leaders beginning on July 27. Russian President Vladimir Putin has previously offered free grain to, especially needy African countries. Second, Ukraine has made great strides in developing its backup plans. Rabobank's senior commodity analyst Michael Magdovits says that the country has increased the capacity of its backup grain terminals near the Danube's mouth by as much as 8 times. Its proximity to Romania and Moldova allows its exports to reach the Black Sea. Magdovits estimates that Ukraine can export about 80% as much grain as it did before the war via routes that are safer from Russian aggression. According to Oksana Antonenko, a global fellow at the Kennan Institute, Kiev may continue using its own Black Sea ports despite Russia's threats. Russia's military leverage is pretty tenuous, she says. If Western allies set up an insurance fund, running the blockade becomes a real possibility. The Russian Defense Ministry issued a warning that merchant ships heading for Ukraine would be considered involved in the war, in an effort to silence such rumors. According to Magdovits, the markets have already discounted the severe damage the war has done to Ukrainian agriculture. The price of wheat around the world has increased by about a quarter since before the pandemic. Ukraine's other major agricultural export, corn, has seen a surge of over 40%. Nearby conflict zones have forced the shutdown of 15% of Ukraine's grain capacity. Magdovits claims that Ukraine was an ascendant heavyweight in world agriculture. If the country's farmers continue to suffer economically, grain prices will rise.